To the left, to the left.
Yes.
Everything you own in a box to the left.
Yes.
You do not know about me. You do not know about me.
I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
I can get another you in a minute.
All right.
In your head, lock the doors and close the blinds. Turn on your TV, turn off your mind.
Welcome. Welcome back, everybody.
We've been recording.
What is welcome?
That's just it's like the Stream Deck's welcome.
Oh, gotcha. I thought it was like, is that us saying welcome? We should just hit that button every time.
That would be awesome. We could record just a welcome, so we don't have to say it.
It's okay. Welcome or welcome back, everyone. We are Soul of a Gamer.
Soul of a Gamer.
I am Scott Nell.
And I'm Steve McGee.
And this week's game is
Mortal Kombat!
So, I don't know if you know, and we'll talk about that in the song, but that's not actually in the game.
I know.
I was like, oh, fuck, where'd that come from? It's probably from like the second or third, or the movie or some shit.
There was also like a popular Mortal Kombat techno song that came out, and it said Mortal Kombat and then went into the dubstep. I think it was, and Reptile's theme also had like the dubstep.
Okay. All right. Well, here we are doing Mortal Kombat. We hope you enjoyed last week's episode on A Link Between Worlds.
Whoa, we remembered the game.
Yeah, I did good. Yes. That one was a lot of fun for us. So hopefully you guys went out and played that one after we talked about it a little bit. This week's game, obviously Mortal Kombat. This one was fun. So let's get right into it.
Yes.
Wait, you've got the wrong screen. How do you do this?
There you go.
What's on the box?
What's on the box?
Do you want me to read it? Or
Yeah, go for it.
Prepare yourself.
No. You didn't start right. You got to execute Cage's shadow kick.
Okay. If we're reading the entire box, I was just Liu Kang's fireball.
There's like these pictures, and below the pictures it says like what you can do. Shattering. It's just like them hitting the logs.
Get over here.
I know. They get over here.
Finish him.
I think they should have just
Goro
let the tournament begin. Why the fuck do they have the choose character screen on there? Just put get over here, and I think that will be sufficient enough to get people in, right?
Probably.
Yeah, but they put all of these extra fucking finish him. I like the finish him, actually.
I do.
Yeah, but it's still. All right, continue.
So, prepare yourself. The number one arcade hit is here. From Sub-Zero, Raiden, and the rest of the combat warriors, to the grueling endurance and intense mirror matches. Execute bone-shattering combos and awesome finishing moves. Defeat the half-human Dragon Goro and destroy the shape-changing Shang Tsung to become the supreme Mortal Kombat warrior.
And then also get pissed off at a game like you've never been pissed off before.
Especially if you ever play this with a friend who's really good.
Or if you fucking play on the original Genesis controller, because that was shit. Oh my god.
Even the Super Nintendo controller is not great. The arcade version is way better than...
Yeah, my thumb was killing me after fucking playing. I'm like, God, this sucks.
I wish I had an arcade machine I could have just played it on.
I know, right? You can just get an emulator for that and have like 1 billion games on it.
That's true.
Lana's brother has one of those.
But the old people I used to dog sit for, they had one and it had 85 arcade games on it.
And I mean, you could just switch it out, switch hard drives out, have any game you want.
Yeah,
so that's,
no, it was fucking sweet.
By the way, when I played my Sega Genesis, so guys, I'm just going to reiterate, Sega is the best fucking... They are the best company.
Every time.
They are so much cooler. Like, Nintendo does this shitty thing. They release fucking the Super NES or whatever, the NES.
Yeah.
Right? NES. And they say, it's only limited, though. Mm-hmm. You only get it if you're cool and if you want to pay 12 times over the price because scalpers got it first, right?
Yeah.
Sega's Genesis, like, fucking release as many as you want. Everyone should buy one. They're fucking cool. Yeah. Fuck you, Nintendo. God, get on Sega's level. The only reason you're successful is because you bought out all the fucking competition. You fucking jackass. They started first, too. And then they just copied Sega because Sega was the first 32-bit gaming system.
Dude, if it wasn't for Mario, Nintendo wouldn't be here.
Yeah, they would not. Like, Mario flagshipped them, and Sonic was cool, but not enough. And they didn't have enough good games with Sonic.
Yes.
But Sega really, they got shit on, and they are one of my favorite companies of all time.
I'm still a Microsoft person.
Oh, sure.
Hands
Those are cool
down.
companies. I'm just saying, in comparison to the two original, like, big corporations that came out, and then Sony came out a little bit after them.
See, and I grew up with the Super Nintendo, and that's the only console I had access to, and then 64. My family was just Nintendo.
Well, because those games were less, now, albeit Nintendo did have, like, Banjo-Kazooie, which had, like, all these dirty jokes and stuff, and then also...
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah, they had some success, but in the early days of the NES and the Super Nintendo, they did not have any fucking like super violent, gory games like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
They would not put Mortal Kombat on their system at first.
The most violent games on the 64 was the Unreal Champion Tournament and then the Turok.
Yeah, or I mean, there was a couple. I think I played, technically, GoldenEye. There's some blood in GoldenEye. There's stuff that you...
And there's the character named Pussy Galore.
Yeah, so there's stuff like that. But anyway, getting back into the actual game we're working on today, Mortal Kombat, what's on the box? We just said. The box is actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, I do like the art for it.
Yeah, the old box, too, had the little Sega... So they didn't used to be big. They used to be, like, tiny, like the DS boxes now. A little bigger than that, though, of course. And they used to be thick. And it was fucking sweet buying a fucking game for Sega Genesis because you'd buy this thick box. You'd be like, yeah, this is fucking awesome.
I guess in the kind of the category of the box, I could talk about the logo, the dragon logo as well, and where that came from.
It comes from some guy put his handprint on a piece of paper and it looked a little bit like a dragon.
No.
And then he jerked off a little bit. And then it got really weird after that. But anyway, that's where the dragon logo comes from.
So actually, no.
What?
So one of the original game designers for the game, on his desk, he had this dragon statue.
Yeah.
And they're like, that would be a cool logo. And they digitalized it. And the dragons you see in front of Shang Tsung's throne are the dragon statue, the digital recreations of his statue that he had.
That's cool.
And the dragon on the side of the box of the arcade machine, they also mimicked it after the statue.
That's sweet.
And then they just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, and I've heard, I've never played the arcade version of this game. I've heard
arcade.
It's way, so, arcade games, they had better processors at the time, so, which is weird to think about. It's weird to think that computers back then were shit, but arcade games were amazing.
It's because of how big they were, honestly.
Well, and then I've seen the inside. They're not actually that big inside. It's it's
more the projector screen.
Yeah, it's the projector screen and it's heavy.
Yeah.
So the screens are actually, they need that big box to carry the screen. But inside, the processor just is more in tuned. It's a bigger, you can't get that processor at home.
Yeah.
So, and it was expensive to make those.
Yes.
So it was just like the whole, I just watched the last Blockbuster.
Oh, okay.
When they talked about, it costs like, for a VHS at the time, like the first time selling VHSs, $200.
Yeah.
For a new movie. And I
heard about that.
That's why Blockbuster was like, well, we're perfect then, because we're not going to charge you $200.
Yeah.
We're going to charge you $12, and after 10 rentals, we're going to get our money back, or 12 rentals, or whatever.
Yeah.
We're going to get our money back. And then anything after that is profit.
True.
So, and then they made their profit. Smart move. And same with this. The translating of this game to the home network, though, I heard was really hard.
Yeah.
And it really did, the game lost a lot of what made it cool.
I agree with that. Like, playing the old arcade, I've played this old arcade machine before, and I like a lot of the fighting games on the arcade more than the original consoles.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotten better with, like, Xbox and PlayStation
way better.
and stuff.
You can't beat them now. You can't go to an arcade and say, oh, this is way better than playing my one at home. No, you can't do that.
But the arcades, they were just so much better for so long.
Yeah.
And I liked the way the buttons were, and they were big giant buttons with a big giant joystick, so it was really easy to do the combos a lot better. So
I can't remember which game ruined it almost. I want to say it was an Atari game. They tried to take a arcade game to Atari. I think it was Atari, and they like the translation was not good. It looked like shit going to a home, because the one's on at the time a 16-bit processing, and one's on an 8-bit, which is way different.
Yes.
And then once the Sega fucking revolutionized gaming, no one talks about it, but they came out with a 32-bit processor for games, whatever. I mean, that's just like...
Scott is not salty at all.
I love Sega. They are so good.
Sega, if you want...
Yeah, I love
we would
Sega.
love for you to sponsor us.
Sega, I'd love to sponsor you. I love you so much.
You really would.
So yeah, anyway, the point in that story was I bought this little Genesis machine, and it's fucking amazing. Please buy them if you haven't never, like, they're actually really cool. It holds, I think, 100 games, 120 games. It's fucking sweet. It's got all the classics on it.
It's one of those retro system kind of things.
You can buy it for $50. I mean, fuck, you can't beat that. You have to go, you buy the Sega Genesis version of Mortal Kombat today, I bet it's like $200.
Oh, I guarantee
so
it.
You cannot beat $50 for 120 games.
No.
All right, so let's move on to our next...
Are we jamming?
All right, are we jamming?
No.
I think so, actually. I will say it's fucking loud.
It's loud.
Like, I was playing on my TV at home, and I turn it on, and my TV's not up that loud. I'm like, holy shit, fuck you guys. And I had to turn it down, way down, but the opening is pretty cool. It's kind of like a dark, mystic music.
Yeah.
You know? And then throughout the fights, there's actually no music in the fights, which I thought was interesting because it almost feels like there should be.
And I think there is in later ones.
Yeah, well, in later games, sure.
Yeah.
In the first game, not so much.
No.
And I'm imagining that's just like a licensing thing. To have someone write music for a game has to be fucking expensive.
Yeah, probably. And I know they did this really cheaply because the director of it, Ed Boon, didn't have a lot of faith in it at the beginning.
Yeah, and this is one of those flagship games. We'll get more of that. We don't really have a story for you today, but we'll get into all that into the story time. Yeah. But that'll be our own personal story on the game. But yeah, I thought, the opening song was cool. I really did like that opening song. The fight sounds are actually like pretty cool.
They were all actually recorded sounds from people, which is kind of nice.
And I liked hearing the "get over here." Although mine was glitchy, it only did it about 3/4 the time. You
want to hear the funny story of how that phrase came to be?
How?
So, the original actor for Kano and the original actor for Sub-Zero and Scorpion and Johnny Cage, he did the voice of all of them.
Yeah.
They were talking one day and they were talking about what they were going to do with some of their moves and trying stuff out. And originally it was actually a lasso that he threw and pulled him around.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is too reminiscent of Wonder Woman, actually. So
what? They didn't say this is too reminiscent of fucking the rodeo? Let's get out of the rodeo.
Nope, they thought it was too reminiscent of Wonder Woman. So they were like,
give him a cowboy hat, some steel toe boots, and let him go up out his way.
They did some research and they found out that rope darts were actually a thing that Chinese used to get people off of horses.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, that'd be a perfect thing. And first time they put it into the game, they were testing it out, the ability. And the voice actor for Kano was like, get over here. And they're like, perfect. And then that's how they created this. Nice. It was just the voice actor for Kano actually did voice that one line. And he did it just on a whim.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. There weren't a lot of those. Sony didn't really have any lines. Like they had their kick like, it was like listening to Link do everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, basically, like sometimes punches would be cool, blah, blah, blah.
Johnny Cage had his like, and stuff like that.
Puts his fucking sunglasses on at the end of the fucking fight. What a dick off. Fucking jerk.
Liu Kang sounded like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And he was actually designed after Bruce Lee.
They went all out on the music, really. I mean, they did hosted songs. They got an entire, it was like Night Trap 2.0. Really. That's what it was. All right, so that's it for our We Jam. There's nothing, like the music is very simple. Voice line's very simple. Nothing in the fights, like we said. There's an end music little thing. It's not a lot, though. It's like an explosion sound,
and every time you beat something with a character, it gives you a little bit of a story of that character.
And then finish him will be said.
That's the other thing,
and that's the weird part about that. The character biographies, for me, only came up when I was idle. And they only came up for like 2 seconds.
Mine came up for me for a long time.
Oh, weird.
It was up for a long time, and then it went to a second page for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Mine was like a few seconds on one page, and I didn't even get to read like 1/4 of it.
Oh, I was probably like 15 seconds.
Yeah, but there was something in the cheat menu that said like biography.
Oh, I didn't actually.
It said biography 1 and 2, but I'm not sure what that means because it just all the cheats were weird. They had 7 flags.
Yeah.
And you could turn the flags on or off.
Interesting.
But it didn't say what the flags did. If you I found out 0 and 2 make it so you're instant 1 kill, but that's the only time. Like I went online to look at the flags. Yeah. That's the only thing I found on the flags, just the 1-shot kill.
Weird.
And that's it. I was like, okay, what's the point in the other 5 then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, strange. All right. Anyway, on to.
How does it play?
How does it play?
Great for then, bad for now.
Yeah, I agree. Controller-wise, I was so frustrated.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll do the little... So I played Sub-Zero mostly.
Yes.
And because he's like the easiest one.
Easiest, by far.
Freeze, uppercut, and get a quick kickoff, and they can block it, but they only block about 60% of the time. So that 40%, you get 2 hits off instantly. And if you get the first kickoff, 90% of there's a 90% chance you're getting your second kickoff.
Yeah.
Which is fucking sweet.
Yeah.
I learned all this because I played too much.
You either do Sub-Zero and you do that combo that he said, or like the other easiest one is Liu Kang and you just do the down B kick.
Well, actually, Liu Kang was good, but fucking Raiden,
Raiden.
He can teleport directly behind them, and if you're quick,
Yep.
you can get a quick uppercut off from them. If they're quick, they'll get a quick block. But
Scorpion could also teleport, and like if you did that in this thing,
his was the shittiest because sometimes it would just push me to the edge of the map, and
Yeah.
sometimes it would
You had to
teleport
be
me
far
behind.
enough over.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. No, at one point I was on the edge of the
Oh,
map,
shit.
and it just left me there. And I'm like,
That's weird.
Game, come on! And it's just the fucking way the game was built. It's impossible to get that old timey games
Yeah.
like perfect.
because I looked up like how to beat Sung Sen easily,
Yeah.
and someone did it with Scorpion, and all they did was teleport,
Yeah, back and forth. And you
just
don't always
perfect.
hit. Like I don't know. I watched a guy like teleport and hit every single time they teleported
Yeah.
because you get a free kick.
Yeah.
Mine hit once every maybe 6 or 7 times. Because I tried out different people. I did Scorpion, Raiden, and Sub-Zero. I tried Kano. I didn't like him. He wasn't
Yeah.
fun. His abilities are really immobile.
Yeah,
He's got the knife throw, and then he's
Yeah.
got the what was the other one? The one that fucking annoys the shit out of me.
Was it laser?
The
Oh.
somersault forward. But that one again, it's one of those stupid ones where you have to press fucking 10 buttons
Yeah.
plus a side to move. It's fucking ridiculous, and I could never get it to work. So he was worthless because I couldn't get that one move to work.
Yeah.
Raiden, however, has this really cool thing that's easy. 2 back, 1 forward pushes you, like flies you towards
Yeah.
them, and you bounce into the wall, and then you bounce far enough back so they can't get a second hit on you.
yes,
They can block that, but you still bounce far
that's
enough
the one
back.
where he does like the diving.
Yeah.
yeah,
So, and that's cool. And then his lightning bolt's really easy to use
Mm-hmm.
too, so you didn't have to focus too much on like what you're doing. And then he gets an extra ability. I think he's the only one with 3 abilities. If you press down and up, he teleports behind the person.
I think so.
So, and that was really cool with Raiden. Like, he was the only one who. The only problem with that is unless you're really quick, they get a quick punch on you.
Yeah.
And you can't. And you have to hold the block button while you're doing it, basically. But, I mean, he's the only one with 3 abilities, I think. I think the other people had more finishers. One person had like 2 or 3 finishers.
Yeah, Scorpion I think's got a couple.
Yeah. Someone had 2 or 3. It was maybe it was Johnny Cage. I don't remember. Anyway. The game's controls are just shitty. I can't tell you how many times I did the freeze thing and it would not go off because on the old Genesis controllers, they're fucking hard. It's hard plastic, like digging into your skin,
Yes.
and you're doing it. You're like, my thumb, my thumb hurts so bad.
These D-pads suck dick.
Not built for comfort at all.
I miss the edges of the D-pad where it pops out into like a circle.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just a straight fucking edge like a razor. It's fucked up.
You gotta always have these D-pads.
Yep. But yeah, the old D-pads are shit, man. They were so hard to use. It was so hard to play that game just playing with that fucking controller.
Yeah.
Each person got like 2 moves, so that was a little shitty for how does it play,
Yeah.
You go in and you think like, oh, I'm going to do all this stuff because I played one of the newer Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah.
And you do a ton more. You have-
Your move list is insane.
yeah, and your combo list. Like, there's
Oh,
no
God.
combos in this game.
No.
So you don't get like in old Street Fighter games, I'm pretty sure the longer you last a combo, the more damage you do in that combo.
I think it was something to that effect, but also like they had combos. You could combo the entire match if you could get it right.
Yeah.
You had it. It was juggling.
Yeah.
Is what they called it.
They do it in Dragon Ball Z Budokai. If anyone ever played that, that one was really fun. It's we should play it sometime. It is really fun.
I do like Budokai.
Budokai was like a fighting game similar, only it was a more 3D aspect fighting game.
Yep.
So you broke that second third wall. You broke not the third wall.
Kind of.
You broke the second wall because in these games it's a scroll back forward hit.
Yeah.
And in those games you could go into a different spot, so you're facing perpendicular to an enemy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I played that on the GameCube with my old friends.
that was one of the
in,
best
like,
GameCube
middle
games.
school.
Yeah, me too. I love that game. I spent hours fucking playing that game.
But yeah, no, like the only combos in this one were a 3-hit, and the thing that was weird about this too was like right when this came out, I think Street Fighter 2 came out a year prior or the same year as this, and Street Fighter 2 actually had 6 buttons. They had hit high, punch high, punch low, kick high, kick
so does
low,
Mortal
block
Kombat.
high, and block low. Mortal Kombat, you could on the arcade only had kick, punch, and then directions.
Oh, weird.
But they actually had 6-button pads.
Sega Genesis, it had 6 buttons.
Oh, okay.
High punch, low punch, high punch. If you couldn't like combo with, you could combo with high punch, but you couldn't combo with low punch. So
Okay.
like if it said low punch, you could use high punch or low punch.
Yeah.
But if it said high punch, you could only use high punch.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. And they look like they did the same thing because there's 6 buttons on the Genesis controller.
Yeah.
But they to me, it looked exactly the same, like a high and a low punch, but apparently they were different.
No, I meant like because of the actual arcade machines too.
Yeah, I had
like
just one button each.
Yeah, because the arcade machine for
That would have been way easier. Well, 3 buttons because one had to be block.
Yeah, it was 3 buttons. So yeah, they had 3 buttons and they had 6 buttons.
Yeah,
Street Fighter 6 buttons.
Yeah, so this game ended up with 6 buttons on the Genesis. I don't know if they ported it weird to make it like add effects or something, but who knows?
Probably just because they had the extra buttons. Why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, that was probably revolutionary for home systems anyway.
Because I mean, even with the first Mortal Kombat machines that came out, like typically 1,000 machines were made when a game first comes out. Only 200 were made when this first came out.
Yeah, they killed it.
Yeah.
This was the whole, we talked about this in the Night Trap episode, where they had a court case about violent video games. The 2 biggest games in that were Night Trap and Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
And they were like, it's reproducible violence. And you're like, you can rip somebody's fucking skull out and hold it with its spine attached.
You can punch into someone's heart and pull it out and have it still beating and be holding it in your hand.
Or you can shoot lightning bolts out of your fucking dick or something. Like, what are you talking about? It's reproducible violence.
I can rip off my mask and you see a skeleton and like breathe fire on you until you burn into ash.
It's crazy that they said that. And then also it's that same thing. Like they ask them, hey, did you ever play the fucking game? And they said, no, but we've heard.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not enough. You have to get firsthand experience.
Seriously.
God, people are so, and I get it. Like if you call up an expert witness, right? You call up, you're dealing with gun handling and you call up an arms expert.
Yeah.
They're going to have that information to you because they fucking work with that shit.
Yeah.
If a lawyer ever asked them like, well, have you ever touched a gun? He said, oh, no way, dog. Then they wouldn't take his fucking shit seriously, would they?
No.
Like, same thing. Should have fucking been held to the same standard, but all these old fucks who don't know what the hell they're talking about. God.
Just angry people who want to get rid of this.
Yeah, honestly. And Mortal Kombat was a big flagship for them, and it sucked. All right, well, that's pretty much it for controls. What else did you have for controls? It's
not
kick,
really
punch,
anything.
block, and move.
Yeah.
You can teleport and stuff with some characters to get to opposite sides. You can't dash, which I really hated.
Yeah. There wasn't like a quick
like sometimes
movements.
You can hit double side or something to go quickly to them. And I don't remember. There's other games I've played, like fighting games, where they have that.
Dead or Alive has it. Soul Calibur has it.
Oh yeah, Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive.
Tekken has it.
I remember Dead or Alive because you could do a cheat to switch everyone to have volleyball, like beach volleyball outfits. Yep. And it was fucking hilarious.
Well, and like Dead or Alive 6 is known as the worst game ever as far as microtransactions.
Oh really?
If you paid for every bit of DLC in the game, $1,000.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what people do, man. They're not towards us. They're for the people who actually pay it.
Oh, and when you change like your hair color or something, it costs $1 to change your hair color for the character.
Wait, why?
And you don't get to keep that hair color. Every time you change it, it costs $1.
Oh. Interesting.
So if you bought redhead and then blonde.
When did this game come out?
Dead or Alive 6 was
recently.
2016.
Yeah, I was going to say in the last
17?
10 years because they didn't start microtransactions until after 2010, I think.
Yeah.
So
because I think Dead or Alive 7's out now, I want to say.
Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, yeah, you don't get a sprint. You don't the game's really simple mechanic wise. It's really interesting too because everyone seems to do the same damage.
Yeah.
So the characters are really just skins and their abilities are different, but even every character has a shoot ability and they all do the same damage. The only difference is Sub-Zero and Scorpion's shoot abilities. Sub-Zero's does 0.
Yeah. And it freezes.
And it freezes so you can get a free hit. And Scorpion's does a very tiny amount and pulls you toward and stuns so you get a free hit.
Yeah. Which best combo of that was get over here, uppercut,
and then
teleport.
Well, mine was jump and kick.
Yeah, that too.
They 60% of the time they'll block it, but that 40% if they miss it, you'll get a free kick basically. Because 90% of the time the second kick will go through.
Yeah.
So it's just playing this game a lot. I learned a lot of things. There's a lot of fucking. These bots, they do the same thing, and it was really annoying playing certain ones because you're like, motherfucker, so fucking annoying. All right, well, let's move on.
Yep.
It's story time. Let's get started.
Love that music so
I know.
much. It's so fucking catchy.
So there is no story in any of the original ones?
There is, but there isn't. There's like this background story of what the Mortal Kombat tournament was.
There's little snippets at the end where they talk in text of like the tournament and like what the tournament meant to each character and like a little bit about their backstory.
My favorite part about the story, by the way, before we get into the game, before the game even starts, and this is again, Midway, you did such a good job. You guys are fucking awesome. At the start of the game, it has a little message saying a code can mean many things. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it said like in martial arts, a code of conduct is used to determine what's fair and what's not fair. In this, a code is this, and like maybe in this game there's a secret code. It's just like I'm like, fuck you guys, that was great. And it's just because when this game was ported, they didn't want the blood and guts and shit. So they took it out, but they put in a cheat code for the Genesis version. I don't think it was in the Nintendo version. If it was, I'm not too sure. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
Can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But in the Genesis version, you could activate blood and not turn on any other cheats. It just opened up the cheat menu. So you could do several things in there, which I still don't fucking understand. One of them is called like hoop to hoop or something. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I didn't know. None of it made sense. But the only thing that made sense was blood, and then it would change the Mortal Kombat at the top. Yeah. It's yellow. And then it changed it to red.
Nice.
I'm like, fucking sweet. You turn it on. It's so cool. I love it.
Nice.
And its starting mode is off, and you know that because when you go, you have to click left to turn it on, not right to turn it on.
Yeah.
Everything else is right to turn it on. This is the only thing that's not.
Interesting.
So yeah, so they do this on purpose because they're like, fucking play at your own risk.
Right.
I loved it. I loved it. Beginning of the story, just starting with that code bullshit.
So I was looking into the games and stuff. The first ones with story were some of the spin-off games, like the Shaolin Monks,
the
I don't
remember Sub-Zero. I really wanted to play that one. I remember that as a kid. That one was fun.
I think there's like a Shinobi one,
Who
too.
knows?
That's
fucking
Shinobi Knights or something.
They really went far with this. They tried their best not to fail.
And then once Warner Brothers took over with Mortal Kombat in 2011, that one was one of the first ones with a full-length story.
Yeah.
And then MK10 had a story, and then everyone says that the best story is now MK11, which I do want to play at some point.
Yeah, at some point we'll play that one. But, and this one, I mean, if we go off the original movie,
yeah,
you had to lose...
Or even the new movie.
Yeah, I never saw the new one, but the original one, it's like you had 7... You couldn't lose 7 times in a row or something.
I don't even know.
Remember the original? So Raiden pulls all these fighters in, and he's like, we have lost the last 6 of 7 tournaments.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
If we lose another one, our realm goes to the other realm.
The nether realm takes over and can come into the earth realm.
It's so weird. It's fucking made no sense, but whatever. So they've lost 6 in that one, and then it's the horrible CGI of Goro, and it was hilarious.
Yes.
But in this, I'm assuming it's a similar story. But it sounds more like when you fight, because at the end, what's his name? Sue.
Wait.
What's the last bad guy's name? It's name
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung. I don't know why I'm thinking Sue. Shang Tsung. He has he absorbs the souls of all the fighters.
Yes.
Except for you, but he does absorb you because he can still turn into you. It's because your soul isn't absorbed because you're fighting him.
Yeah.
So, but you can still turn into you.
In the movies and like in the more of the story and the lore, if you actually get into it, he does have the ability to absorb souls, but I'm pretty sure that just kills you. But in the Mortal Kombat world, death isn't always death.
Nope. But so he absorbs everyone's souls after the Mortal Kombat tournament because they all get defeated.
He would just, every time he defeated someone.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, like, after the tournament's complete, he's got all of the souls except for yours. But technically, like, when you fight him, he has your soul. He can turn into you. But he's not even the strongest character in the game. Like, the Reptile is.
Yeah.
Which is fucking insane. And he's random. He's just a random. He shows up, and if you get a perfect, if you don't take any damage, and you do a fatality, he will come.
Yeah.
And you can fight him, and if you beat him, I think you can play him. But you have to do like a series of things to do that. So like when I looked it up, it made no fucking sense. It said like press right trigger and left trigger. I'm like, there is no right and left trigger on the fucking Sega Genesis remote.
Which Reptile in its original form was just another recolorization of Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Yeah. His name is, if you play him, his name is Scorpion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all had the same outfit. They did this thing that was revolutionary at the time. It was like a palette changer.
Yeah.
And they could change the palette of the colors per like certain items.
Yeah, so when you face your mirror image, they're always a little bit different. Because that's one of the fights you do. You do like 6 basic fights.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was 8 basic fights, maybe.
Well, 6 basics before the mirror image, I think.
Oh, I have it down here somewhere.
So it doesn't matter. It's a number
Yeah.
of basic fights before the mirror image, and then you fight yourself. And in the mirror image, you...
it's 6, and then you fight yourself.
Yeah, 6, then you fight yourself. And the mirror image is always a little bit different. Just a tiny bit. There's, like, when I was playing Sub-Zero, it was a lighter blue,
Yeah.
which was cool. And when you're playing Scorpion, it's a deeper yellow.
Shiny Scorpion.
Shiny?
Like Pokemon Shiny?
Oh, yeah. Well, and I mean, it makes sense because it turns more of a gold color with Scorpion. It's like a deeper yellow gold. So, and I did it with a couple. I only did it with 3. I did it with Raiden, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero. I did play the other characters, but I didn't, unless I continued, I didn't change my character. And I got to the point where I was never continuing, so.
Yeah. So yeah, the story the gameplay story goes, it's 4 battles, then you do your test your might where you have to break wood. Then you do another 2 battles, then you test your might to break stone.
Yeah.
Then you do your
by the
mirror
way,
match.
the test your might is fucking horseshit.
It's just button mashing.
It's stupid button mashing.
Yeah.
So with mine, it says press A and C at the same time. Right? And that doesn't work. You have to press A, then C. If you press C, then A, it doesn't work. It doesn't explain how to fucking do it, besides it says press at the same time, and it's fucking wrong. So then eventually I got it, because you get to like 50,000 points from breaking the wood.
Yeah.
200,000, or maybe it's 1,000. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I never broke the wood. I'm guessing it's between 50 and 1. Because 200,000 to break the stone,
Stone,
and then metal or steel I think it is.
last, yeah.
It's 500,000 points.
Yeah.
So and I don't know. The points are really, it doesn't fucking matter. You don't get anything from, like, the points are just being like look at me guys, I'm cool.
It was just mainly for like arcades and stuff.
Yeah.
Or just to like to brag to your friends, like I got this score.
So the high score in my game never, like, because I beat the high score in my game.
Yeah.
Like, but it never saved.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that's just a Genesis thing. I think it was a port thing, because the port was not that perfect.
Yeah, I think it was a support thing, because I think on the Super Nintendo it did save your...
Okay, yeah. The Genesis, Segasys. I should call it a Segasys. That's what they should have called it.
So yeah, after the mirror match, you got 2 endurance rounds where you fight 2 fighters back to back.
3 endurance rounds.
It's 2 endurance rounds, then test your might steel, and then another.
Oh
endurance
yeah.
round.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
You're going for like the
I'm
full.
going the full.
Yeah, you break
I
your
broke
fucking,
it all down.
You gotta break your steel to get your 500,000 meaningless points.
And then after your
It's like, whose line is it anyway?
the points don't matter.
The points don't fucking matter.
After your 3rd endurance battle, right at the very end of it, as soon as the second fighter falls, Goro drops in.
Yeah, this is where I didn't get to fight Goro or the last guy. And it's because my game, every time I got there, every single fucking time, it would reset to the beginning. At first I thought it was cheats. It wasn't, because I turned off all the cheats, and then I just played without the blood, and it still didn't do it. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I don't get to fight Goro or whoever the last guy is. So I watched a video on them fighting it, and it's exactly what I pictured it being.
Yeah.
So it was
Goro's harder than Shang Tsung.
kind of.
In ways, like
Goro
Shang
looked
Tsung's
fucking easy. The person I watched just fucking tooled him the entire time.
Yeah, I watched a couple there.
He does look like he has some resistant to bed damage, because the damage he was
does
receiving.
more damage,
yeah,
I think.
the damage he was receiving was less than what the fighters you were previously fighting were.
And one of the cool things about Goro is every character in this was a digital creation of actors.
Yeah.
Except for Goro, it was a claymation sculpture.
Are you sure Goro wasn't a digital animation?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes,
They
I'm
didn't
positive.
find some half dragon, half human piece
No.
of shit?
The voice actor, or the actor for Kano, one of his good friends was a art sculptor.
Nice.
And sculpted it out of clay, and then they did claymation, stop motion to do all of his effects.
He's like, Goro's fucking sweet, by the way. He's got 4 arms. He's
Giant.
actually cool.
Like a Scorpion King ponytail.
Yeah,
off of
fucking
his head.
sweet. Like
He actually kind of looks like the Scorpion King with 4 arms.
I wonder how he got half dragon. Did they explain that?
I don't think they do. He's
just-
from either the Shadow Realm or the Nether Realm.
Or
I
his
can't remember
mom
what it's
fucked a
called.
dragon? Either way.
And
What a beautiful form, baby.
I think he's a demon
Well, it says half human, half dragon.
or something. Yeah,
So I don't
he's
know.
explained as different things in different.
Oh, because in
things.
the original one, half human,
Half dragon. Yeah.
defeat the half human dragon. It actually says half human dragon.
I don't know.
I don't understand. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Goro.
So maybe he's demon, human, dragon.
If you haven't done it, watch the original fucking movie and just look how dumb he looks in that. Please.
He actually looks a lot better in the new movie.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Did they beat the 90s fucking CGI?
Yes. Well, in some aspects, yes. In other aspects, no. The new movie is a good, bad movie. Like,
Okay.
it is shit.
I'll watch it eventually.
And there's no tournament.
There's no tournament?
There's no
Then
tournament.
what's the point?
It's a build up to the tournament.
Oh.
And the best scene of the movie is the first 16 minutes of the movie.
And I watched that.
And
where
it's
Scorpions fighting? Yeah, I
Sub-Zero.
watched that because you gotta get to watch the first
That
8
is
minutes.
the best scene of the entire movie. And,
Yeah.
But like the fights are stupid, but the fatalities are awesome.
All right, let's get on. So we talked about the fights. Basically, you climb this ladder, you fight 7, then 3, then 2. As he said, the last fight, Goro just shows up in the same area.
Yeah.
So it's actually not like a new fight. You don't heal from that. So make sure you're not fucked up.
Yeah.
So like really try your hard. I know endurance is kind of shitty because you have to fight one and then fight another.
Yep.
So like literally fight one, then fight another, and then you win the round.
But I think when Goro came in, at least on the Super Nintendo, it actually did heal you.
Oh, I don't know. On the Sega Genesis, I don't think.
Okay.
It did, but Goro comes in and you fight him. He just drops down from the ceiling. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool animation for the time period.
Yeah.
Like I know that they had that kind of stuff. Like you'd see Treasure Chest and Legend of Zelda drop down from high up. But I mean that was pretty fucking rad.
Oh yeah.
And then you fight the last guy. You can change into any other person.
Yep. He can morph into anybody, and then he's got this double fireball attack.
Oh yeah,
It's such a
3.
bitch.
Isn't it 3 that come out? Boom,
I think
boom, boom.
yeah, it's either 2 or 3.
I think it's 3.
I think it might be 3.
You have to like duck.
But-
You can't block them because I think after the second one it breaks your block.
It's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
So your block, no, your blocks can't be broken. So this game, it did a smart thing with the blocks. I will say
Yeah.
that. We didn't talk about this and how does it play, but I want to mention it now. Blocks happen, but you still take damage while you're blocking.
Yep.
You just take a minute amount.
Yep.
So you can't just sit there and be a little bitch and block the entire
And
time.
that's most fighting games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other games, we have the invulnerability block, which everybody knows if they listen, I fucking hate.
Yeah, it's those beat 'em up games that started that shit.
Yeah.
I can't get hit while blocking.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I hate
That
those.
shit. And then, but in this one, it's really good. The bots don't just sit there and fucking block the entire time while you're hitting.
Yep.
You'll miss one freeze ray and you'll hit the next one
Yeah.
kind of deal. It's really cool.
So I don't know how much we want to fully dive into the story, but
Why don't we get into the biographies of each character? I would like to hear
Okay.
them because I didn't get to read them because they were so fucking quick.
I will start with the way
no, I
this
hate
game
that.
started,
How about we just stop you right there?
because it goes into why the
Sucks.
first character was
All right,
created.
let's see. Bruce
Okay.
Lee.
No, actually, Johnny Cage was the first character created.
Oh, because of Van Damme.
Yep.
Oh, is it Van Damme?
Yes.
I guess right.
So this game was actually started out as
Kinda
a
looks like
Jean-Claude Van
douche.
Damme game.
Yeah.
They originally were wanting to make a Jean-Claude Van Damme game.
Oh, I
and they
remember
wanted
this actually. I watched the
the making of or whatever.
No, not the making of the game. I watched that video game documentary that
Oh,
was like 9
yeah.
parts, and they mentioned that. And John Claude like pulled out because he's a jackass or something.
Yeah, they wanted him, and they were talking to him about doing it, and they were trying to get a licensed game because licensed games were really big at the time with
Yeah.
like the Terminator game
Yeah.
and a bunch of these other things.
So you try to get like a movie game.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And because right at the time he would just got done with Kickboxer
Yeah.
and Bloodsport,
Oh, Bloodsport. Whatever.
and so they were designing a Bloodsport kind of game,
Yeah.
and that's what they originally were doing. But then Jean-Claude Van Damme came out with Universal Soldier, which was more of a military movie,
Yeah.
and Nintendo Game Boy offered him a game for that,
Yeah.
and he went on that right away.
Oh, of course, Nintendo fucking try to one up another company. Oh, big surprise! Nintendo's a dick.
So being kind of salty about it,
I'm
the
kinda
guy
salty about it.
the guy who is the actor for Johnny Cage, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion, his name is Danny Pacini. He actually decided to make a spoof character of
Van Damme.
Van Damme, Johnny Cage.
Mhm.
And he was a movie star, he was arrogant, he was
was an
pompous, he was an asshole.
asshole.
he did everything.
They did
He's like,
they perfectly embodied who John Claude Van Damme is.
and his split punch to the nuts
Yeah.
was in Bloodsport.
Was it?
Yeah, it was one of his finishing moves in Bloodsport, and so they brought that into the game just to
Nice. Fuck
spite him.
him. He's a fucking jackass.
Because that's what Van Damme was famous for, was all of his split attacks.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, look at me. Oh, yeah, because I remember watching the stupid video of him. He did the splits between 2 trucks.
yeah, and had it pull apart.
Yeah, but I don't think that was real. I think it was CGI. But then they had one of fucking Chuck Norris one-upping him doing the splits between 2 jets
Yeah.
in the air. Just made me laugh.
I loved that.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme, he also had the fastest kick ever recorded at like 120 miles an hour.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's ever recorded any other kick. That's why it's the fastest.
No, there's been a lot of UFC fighters that record their kicks.
Fuck their UFC fighters. They're not real fighters.
Yeah, they
They
are.
like to tackle a lot. They're on the ground a lot.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
Part of the game.
So yeah, then they so that was the reason why Johnny Cage was invented, and they just had like at Midway Studio, the creator of the game that was working underneath Ed Boon, he was actually he didn't want anyone to know about it, so he's making this game with his friends in secret, like after hours and stuff.
Yeah.
And they didn't like bring it up to him until it was like almost done.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Donnie Pacini, his brother, plays Raiden, and he was modeled after the 3 storms from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, cool.
The third storm was lightning.
Yeah.
And so he actually had the straw hat and everything designed because of the third storm. And then they had Kano was designed after the Terminator. Because they were seeing all these licensed games being all popular. And like, let's throw the Terminator kind of guy in there. And then
all these studios don't know that, and we're revealing it now, and they're like, we need to sue. Good luck if they're gone.
Liu Kang also was designed after Bruce Lee.
Of course.
And
that one's the most obvious, I think.
A lot of the maps were actually
He even
based
walks
off of,
like Bruce Lee did when he fights. Yeah.
He does his sounds like Bruce Lee, and like the bicycle kick is a Bruce Lee thing, and all of his sound effects. All the maps were actually designed from Enter the Dragon as well.
Nice. Yeah,
like
the maps were
temples and
fucking
stuff.
sweet.
Yeah, they were actually designed based off the Enter the Dragon movie.
Nice.
Which is
you can see it if you're watching the YouTube. You can. This is one of the maps.
Yep.
And it's really cool because then like 2 or 3 of the maps you see this guy.
Shang Tsung.
Yeah. So you see the last boss basically, right?
Yep.
And that's 2 or 3 of the maps. You're always fighting in front of him, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And have him come in the end. Like that's actually really fucking a smart idea.
I loved that. Yeah, and Johnny Cage originally his design name was Michael Grimm. But then they changed it to Johnny Cage so they could match the JC from John Clad.
Yeah, I like that too. Johnny Cage sounds much better than Michael Grimm.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some of these characters' histories. How about that? Did you write that down? You write down their bios? Let's go.
Oh, like the actual character? I didn't write down there.
Oh, man.
I know a lot of them.
I wanted to read them. I wanted to look them up online, and I never got to it.
So I know a few of them.
I know Raiden is the daughter of a Chihuahua and a Scorpion.
Yeah.
And that's really weird.
But not the guy Scorpion, but the animal Scorpion.
Yeah. And, no, not animal, insect.
Oh, yeah.
Insect Scorpion and a Chihuahua. So
stupid.
take that as you will, guys, but they got insane with the backstories.
No. So Raiden is God, and he's one of the
Thunder God.
Yeah, he's the
in
Thunder
the movie,
God.
he's like this good God who wants to help the humans.
He's not supposed to intervene, but he does intervene.
He's like, they've taken away my godlyhood.
I think there's one of 7 elder gods.
Yeah,
and I think Shang Tsung is another one.
I think,
and he's god of like the Nether Realm or whatever. And Raiden uses his powers to influence the humans to help them win the tournament.
Yeah, to make them train to teach them new like fireballs out of their hand.
Yeah,
I don't think they did that in any of the movies, or at least in the old movies.
They did it in the new one.
Yeah,
though.
in the old ones there was just like a cyborg and shit from Mortal Kombat 2, and
they
Sonya was there.
They made it. Everyone had powers that they just magically brought out in themselves in the new movie.
Like
one of Kano, when he got his powers because he wanted an egg roll, and 2 of the guys weren't giving him an egg roll, and then he started being really racist to them, and was like, "You fucking give me a fucking egg roll!" And then shot a laser out of his eye, and he's like, "Ah, I found my power!"
Nice. Interesting. Well, he doesn't have that power in the game.
He gets it in later games.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because he just throws a knife and then he curls up into a ball and shoots himself like a cannonball.
Yeah, they did a lot more powers. Sonya, she was a
She's
police
Russian?
no, she's
No?
Sonya Blade was an American. She was a soldier or officer.
I
Of
think
some
a
sort.
soldier.
I think it was a soldier.
I think you're right. That's what it was in the movie. But again, the movie is loosely based on the game.
Johnny Cage was just a movie star who was also a fighter.
He's also an expert martial artist with the fastest recorded kick, faster than Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yep. He played in movies like Double Dragon and Dragon Fist and stuff like that. I think is what the actual movies he was titled to be in. Sub-Zero and Scorpion have really ancient ties to Chinese.
Yeah, Sub-Zero or Scorpion's like...
They're both Chinese ninjas.
And they're both insanely old.
And
I think Sub-Zero is quite a bit younger than Scorpion.
They're similar ages, but I think Scorpion's older, actually.
Yeah.
Because Sub-Zero actually is an assassin, and he gets billed to kill Scorpion.
Yeah.
And he goes and he kills Scorpion's wife and his son or daughter, oldest son or daughter, I believe. And then he ends up killing Scorpion as well.
Nice.
But Scorpion
makes a pact with the devil.
Makes a pact with the devil
to become his personal assassin.
Yep.
And then I think eventually he kills the devil.
Something to that effect. But he's cursed to never have his family ever again or never be part of his family.
He's an agent of the devil.
In the new movie, they make the fucking new character they made for the movie be his last descendant that no one knew about, that was hidden underneath the house.
It was hidden under a rock.
The mom hid the baby underneath the floorboards before Sub-Zero came in and killed them. And then Raiden comes down and picks up the baby, and then after generations and generations, back in the modern world, he's the descendant of...
Yeah, that baby grew up to be Elon Musk.
Yes. How'd you know?
The richest man on the planet.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
I don't know Goro's story. I don't really
Goro's
know.
like the weirdest one because it showed his fucking bio. I wish I would have been able to read it, but it's literally just half dragon. You're like, how'd that come about? You're like, why does being a half dragon give you 4 fucking arms?
Right?
Why are you huge with 4 arms? That was a half dragon. He can't breathe fire either.
No,
he shoots fire.
Yeah,
or he shoots like an energy fire. It's kind of like a yellowish.
Yeah.
It's not exactly fire, but it looks a little bit like fire.
Yeah, because even like Sonya's finishing move where she kisses and has that like little fireball, it's just like a yellow ball.
Yeah.
It's not even, but it burns them to ash.
Sonya also doesn't, what does she throw? Hers isn't energy. It's actually like she's throwing something.
I can't remember. She does like a energy blast. So you're right though. It's like
it's not really. It's like, she's throwing something. So it looks like an energy blast, but it's actually a throw. I don't remember what comes out of her hand, but she throws something. It's in a circle. It almost looks like a noise blast, but it's not that. She's actually throwing something, but I'll look it up later.
Okay. But
yeah, that's pretty much it for the whole game. I mean, this game was so easy and short. It's fun though.
I guess I could go into the name of the game a little bit too.
The name of the game.
Why it was named the way it was.
Kombat with a K because they don't know how to spell.
Yes.
This is actually the form of combat from ancient Greece.
So they didn't actually come up with a name until 6 months into production.
Nice.
And
it was called Happy Lily Times for My Little Ponies.
Originally they had Kumite, they had Death Blow, Dragon Attack, Fatality, and Final Fist. Those were the first 5 names they came up with.
I think Mortal Kombat and Final Fist, that would be cool.
And then
every other one of those names was shit.
He was kind of mixing some of the things together, and on the drawing board one day he had Combat with a K, because I think he's mixing Kumite and Combat.
Yeah.
And one of the guys who was a arcade designer for Midway, pinball arcade designer for Midway, he came in one day.
Back when pinball machines were cool.
Yeah. And he ended up becoming the voice actor of Shao Kahn and later Mortal Kombat games. But he came in one day and he was like looking at the board of all their names. He's like, Combat with a K? How about Mortal Kombat? Like, literally everything in this game of how it was created was one guy was just
funny.
like, how about this? And they're
So,
like,
like-
yeah.
And it's funny because mortal is like saying that all these characters are mortal, and a lot of them are not.
Yeah, only the Earth realm people are mortal.
Yeah. It's literally fucking Raiden, Goro, and God, why can't I think of his name every
Shang
time?
Tsung.
Shang Tsung. I want to call him Liu for some reason.
Well, there's Liu Kang.
I know, but I want him to be Liu Kang. Shang Tsung, they're all immortals. They've all been around for thousands of years, so it's just weird that it's called Mortal Kombat when two of the main bosses and one of the main characters are all immortal people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who Kano is. I was curious about some of them because I'm like, who the fuck is Kano? And is he a bad guy? Because he seems like a bad guy.
He is a bad guy.
Okay.
So he's like a thief mercenary.
Okay.
He's an Australian thief mercenary, and he ends up getting cybernetic enhancements. And he's just
Does he the one with the eye?
Yes.
He's got like a...
He's got the
robot
robotic
eye.
eye.
Yeah.
He's designed after the Terminator.
Yeah, okay. I didn't notice that I don't think he had the robot eye in Mortal Kombat 1.
He did. If you look at the back there, you can see it's
You can kind of
cyborg.
see it, yes.
It's really small.
During the fight, you cannot see that shit at all because I played him and I did not notice
And I wonder if it's on the other side of his face, like depending on which way you were fighting.
Yeah, I
him
have
too.
no idea, but he was like, it was impossible to tell if he
Yeah.
was a cyborg or not
Yeah.
in my game.
Yeah.
So, fucking weird. But yeah, all these characters, they all like I'm sure loose biographies in the game is probably like, super cool ninja guy, fucking lived for 200 years.
Scorpions is like basically what I told you.
Yeah.
It says like Scorpion was killed by
And
Sub-Zero.
Luke Cage, fucking Johnny Cage. Luke Cage over here. Fucking Defenders, killing it.
Yeah.
Johnny Cage, movie star, that's pretty generic for him.
Yeah, in his biography, it says that he was a martial artist / movie star, starred in movies such as this, and this.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do the tournament to prove how good of a fighter he was, and he wasn't just an action star.
And then
or
he
something like
lost first round every time.
that. And yeah, like Scorpions, it just talks about that in his deal and how he can't be back with his family, and he joined the tournament.
And he's got a cool skull head and he shoots fire from it somehow, but Goro doesn't. I don't fucking get it.
Sub-Zero is a thing about how he was an assassin and he killed Scorpion.
Yeah. And he can shoot, he can Kamehameha with ice.
Yeah.
It's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of this game, it's really cool to know that a lot of it was like spur of the moment shit.
Yeah, it was all
That's
spur of the
fucking
moment
cool.
shit, and like literally all
You
of
can't
the
do that
actors were all just friends of the actor. Like even Sonya, she was a gym instructor that Danny Bassani,
Mm-hmm.
who was Johnny Cage, they were gym instructors at the same gym, and he's like, she's athletic, she doesn't know martial arts, but I could teach her basic moves, and she's a really athletic person,
Yeah.
and she looks good for the part. And
Because they have
that's
to
how-
pull people in. This was all mocap stuff, right? They actually had to pull people
Yeah,
in.
they actually digitally recreated all the moves. They did it on a blue screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool because you don't think of mocap back in the fucking 80s.
No,
but
you don't.
That's really cool that they used that back then. And that was like the early days of mocap. And now it's like, you can't have a game without mocap.
Yeah.
Like even just walking up, I watched we watched during The Last of Us. You know, it was a joke also
Oh, yeah.
watching that thing, but that was a whole scene.
Yeah.
They had to play out in person.
Oh, yeah.
Like with their lines and everything. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, and one of the first movies to do that was actually Rango, the Johnny
Yeah.
Depp movie.
Oh, nice.
They actually acted out every scene, and they actually like were walking around
Yeah.
like their characters did.
Because you
and
think
everything.
voice actors, like they're in front of they're given
Or
like,
they're
hey,
just in a booth.
yeah, and
or-
they're given a scene, and you're like, okay, this is your scene. You're in pain.
Yeah.
You just lost your mother. You're crying.
Ma!
Yeah, like you're given a scene. But in these games now, it's just like you get full fucking scenes while you're in the scene. Like it's really cool. That's so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, we've talked about this before. I have a buddy who does mocap. He's a director, and he's been mocap before. And it's really cool that they have this whole studio for such a simple game because they come out with fucking offshoots of God, why am I? Yeah,
I just had it as
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. Yeah.
Yes, Life is Strange. They come out with they're the ones who do the fucking
They did
Not
Life
the,
is
like-
Strange, Strange Colors, and Life is Strange Beyond.
Strange
the
Colors
Storm.
is the new one coming
Yes,
out.
Before the Storm is their first
They
one.
haven't come out with it yet, I don't think.
It's coming out soon.
Yeah. I don't know. They just announced
It's coming out
it.
this year.
Yeah. They just announced. I don't think it's coming out till December.
I don't remember.
Because he said like
I saw it in the.
he
Xbox
told me
store,
COVID
though.
pushed them
okay.
back like a whole fucking year. But yeah, we're gonna play a Life is Strange game
Yes.
eventually. I kind of want to play the offshoot, but I think we should play the first one first.
Yes, I've already played it twice, but I'm definitely down to play
their
it again.
game is technically a prequel to the first one.
Yes.
So should we just play the first?
We could just play the first one or the prequel. I mean,
and then play the first one.
I mean, yeah.
I could probably get it from him for free. I'm sure they're all digital copies, but fuck it.
Yeah, I have both of them because
I just hate episodic games. If I
Yeah.
can't sit and play a full game, like that's really stupid. Because they with episode games, I don't know if you guys know this, they release it slowly. So
Yeah.
they release episode 1 and then episode 2. You have to buy it for $8 and buy the next episode for $8. You get 2 hours of gameplay for $8.
I waited
Fucking
till they
horseshit.
had the bundle sales
Yeah.
for both of these games. I think I got the first Life is Strange for $5 for all
Yeah.
seasons, and then I got Before the Storm for I think right when it came out for a bundle for
Yeah.
like $12
Did you
or
like
$16.
Before the Storm?
I haven't played Before the Storm yet.
Okay, well let's hope that it's good because if it's not, we're gonna be ripping my buddy's game a new one.
He's not gonna like that.
No, he's not.
So let's pray it's good.
Let's
I mean, I love.
Let's hope.
I love the story. So
All right, I think that's it for story time, right? Unless you guys have anything else.
yeah, I was thinking. Oh, the fatalities.
Oh yeah, we have each fatality for all of you. If you played the original arcade box one, you only have one fatality. You're doing great. In these games, you have 2 because you have the blood is enabled and blood is disabled fatalities.
So
horseshit.
I want to go into the backstory of fatalities. To begin with, first of all, Ed Boon, the director of this game, he absolutely hated that fighting games, as soon as their health bar was depleted, it was just over.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to implement something that was different than all of the fighting games.
And by the way, all of them do this now.
yes,
All of them have copied Mortal Kombat.
a lot of them have finishing moves.
Yeah.
But they don't always. It's not a finish him
Yeah,
moment like
yeah,
Mortal
no.
Kombat's
But
is.
they've all incorporated a fatality or two
Yes.
into their games.
They have fatalities, brutalities, all those whatever we want to call them, special moves. But
Fucktalities.
yes, but so in this one, he created the after their health bar is depleted, in small amounts or whatever. I don't remember exactly how it's triggered, but it offers you the finish him moment.
Yeah.
And what they wanted to do with the game is they actually gave each actor the choice of what their finishing move was. So each actor came up with their own finishing moves.
That's sweet. So
Yeah.
one actor came up with 4 because he plays 4 different characters?
yes, because he plays Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile.
Yeah.
So he picked all of his moves.
Reptile's the best.
So yes.
Reptile, and by the way, I don't know if we talked about him a lot. He's just a character in the game that you don't see. You have to get like a perfect game and you can't lose any health, and you have to do a fatality in order to have him come and fight you.
Yeah.
And it's only when he shows up. So he randomly shows up in matches, and then he's the best character in the game because unlike the final boss, he can use everyone's ability,
Yeah.
but without changing into them.
Oh, interesting.
So he is the only one that can do that. He can use all abilities in the game without changing into them.
Weird.
Yeah.
So for Johnny Cage, we have the uppercut, the head just clean off.
Yeah.
Lots of blood. Kano, we got the old school punch through, rip the heart out,
Rip the heart.
which they do extremely well in the new movie.
Nice.
He rips Reptile's heart out.
Nice. Poor Reptile.
And they actually made him a reptile in the later games too.
Did they?
Yeah. He actually is a walking lizard.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Raiden's the lightning. He shoots. It's really weird. His is like, it's not really directed at them. So when I did it,
Yeah,
it's kind of
kinda
like
weird.
this. It's kind of like his
it
arms
comes
are
down
out.
and then shoots out at
Yeah,
them.
so it's just strange, but it doesn't look like it even hits them because it goes through them.
Yeah.
And then their head explodes.
Yep.
So you're like, okay.
And on the non-blood version of that one, it's just he actually just electrocutes you and you turn to ash.
Oh, yeah, you know, that's so much better than your fucking head exploding.
Yeah.
again.
I was like,
Either way, you're dying. Who gives a
There's
fuck?
no blood with ash.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference.
The difference is you're not a person anymore. At least you still have your body if your head explodes.
Liu Kang, he had he did a couple flare kicks and then he did an uppercut and then it would wring them out and impale them on stuff on the bottom. And that also did that without blood on the Super Nintendo, but on the Genesis, it didn't do the ring out all the time.
Yeah, the Genesis was weird.
Yeah.
They had a lot more problems. I don't know why they wanted their port to be more accurate to the game, I feel like.
Probably.
And the Super Nintendo went a little bit less.
Yeah.
So,
You want to do Scorpion?
Sure. Scorpions. Let's see. He removes his mask. What? If you've ever played Mortal Kombat, this is like the staple of Scorpion. He takes off his mask, there's a skeleton skull underneath, and he breathes fire somehow. And you're like,
Yes.
wait, you have a skull? Do you
Because
have
he's a demon.
lungs?
He's Ghost Rider.
he's like the poor man's version of Ghost Rider, yes.
Yes. And they do that scene amazingly in the movie too.
Yeah, and then all the others are just like, I don't think his changes even for the Genesis version.
No, it doesn't. It's
No.
just a little bit more tame, I guess.
Yeah,
but
they're all tame.
yeah.
There's no blood with that one, so it works out a little better.
Yeah, I think there's more fire in the arcade version,
Yeah.
and you can see the skeleton more, but
Yeah.
that's about it.
Sub-Zero was my favorite because his, like the first time I did it was no blood.
Yeah.
It's just an uppercut that hits him up really high, and I'm like, okay, that was lame. And then when you turn on blood, I love it because he fucking like rips into their fucking head, pulls out their skull and their spine still attached. You're like, that was awesome.
It's got their entire spinal column.
You're
just-
like, damn.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was a cool one. That was my favorite one, I think.
yeah, and
That's
this,
the most violent.
The Super Nintendo one
Did you
is
say stupid Nintendo one?
Stupid Nintendo one. The Super Nintendo one. Shut up. He freezes them and then he punches them.
I
and they
kind of
break
wanted
apart.
that too, actually.
I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too, but they don't do it for the Genesis.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, because the Genesis, they just do the uppercut.
Yeah, which I thought was fucking stupid for his character. He can freeze people. Why wouldn't they make it freeze and then he breaks them apart, or they freeze and they break in half or something? Like seriously, they could have done anything with freezing, and they're like, oh, uppercut.
One of the coolest fight scenes, which they had in the trailer in the new movie, I loved, is Sub-Zero. He stabs Scorpion with a knife, and then he pulls the blade out and blood squirts out. He freezes the blood and then makes another knife out of the blood and stabs him with that. I'm like,
damn,
I need that in some shit.
Right? That was fucking sweet.
And then Sonya, she just does like a little kiss, and then like a little yellow fire thing hits them, and they turn to ash.
Yeah. So that one's not. There's no blood, so we're cool with it.
Yeah, it's the same.
They're really cool with ash. They hate blood.
They can still have skeletons in ash. It's not blood.
And blood's hard.
Yeah.
But that is it for
gory.
story time, I think.
Yeah.
We're on to our final segment.
Worth or nah?
I'm going to go. So this game was not very fun.
No.
This the first one. At the time, if I did have nothing to compare it to, I bet this game would be amazing.
Yes.
So at the time, I'd probably do a worth because it's just fucking cool. It's cool to play with your friends on anything.
Oh, yeah.
And
how
I remember
brutal it was when it first came out.
And I played this on the Sega Genesis when it came out, like with my buddies. And that was a lot of fun playing with them. Like it was cool playing together. This game itself is not fucking fun at all. Playing through it is more irritating than it is fun. I will say that. So I'm going to go with nah.
Yeah, the original ones, like, I honestly have to say not, and I'm going to have to say a full, like, recommend to the new ones.
Yeah.
Except for online play. You will get your ass kicked harder than you've ever been kicked before.
I mean, if you're bad like Steven is, sure, you're going to get your... If you're even...
When you first start, there's just no way.
You're probably better than Steven when you first start.
I'm good at fighting games.
Whatever you say, buddy.
Especially dead or alive. I haven't found a person who could beat me at
I
that.
haven't found. I wish I had this person I knew that Steven knew at one point too. This guy's a fucking loser. I fucking hated him. He said he was so good at all N64 games, not just just one specific game. All N64 games. He was so good that he wished he could find someone to beat him. I'm like, why the fuck would you wish for that?
No one's ever beat me at anything ever.
Like a billionaire going, I wish someone was richer than me, man.
Right.
I wish.
Elon Musk being, I don't want to be the richest person.
God, there's a lot of pressure. I wish someone would take this from me. Take my billions.
I don't want it anymore.
This fucking guy. He probably never even played video games. He was just fucking...
Yeah.
People say things to look better than they are.
Yes.
And you find that a lot with a lot of people, and he is definitely one of those people. He had a hot fucking girlfriend, though.
Yes, he did.
Guys, he got the luckiest break I've ever seen a man get. And it's because this girl was from Spain. She was an exchange student in college. She was smoking She's my fiance's friend, so I probably shouldn't get into so much detail about her. But she was hot. She was cool. And she's really cool, and she seemed like a nice person. And she was with this guy, and I'm like, how the fuck? Because this guy's ugly as fuck. And I'm like, what? How did this
Now that
happen?
you've tied it to Lana, you know that if they listen to it...
Oh, they're gonna know. Lana doesn't listen to this shit. Are you kidding?
Well,
She has no interest.
I didn't know if they did.
Yeah, they don't listen to it.
Oh, okay.
I don't even fucking talk to them.
Fair.
But Isabel was really cool. But she got with this guy who was just fucking not atrocious, but he wasn't a good looking dude. He was kind of smart, but he was kind of an asshole too. So it's like that.
Give and take.
Give and take. And one more story about him. He was dating a girl. He was on a date with a girl.
Yeah.
And this guy, we meet him in a bar because he's just randomly in the bar and Lana and I are there. And he's like, oh yeah, I was just hanging out with my friend Shelby. And I'm like, oh, that's so weird. My buddy Steven's on a date with a girl named Shelby. He's like, oh no. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'd rather not say. And I'm like, don't be a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, this pisses me off so much. If you're gonna say anything, immediately you have to tell. You have to tell because you already broke that fucking wall of silence. If I would have done that to you and said nothing, wouldn't you have been fucking pissed?
Yeah, and I'm like, what? What is it? Like, what do I need to know?
Like literally, that's just an infuriating thing to do. And this guy did it because he knew it would get me riled up. And fuck this fucking guy. I hope he dies in a ditch.
I mean, they did that in How I Met Your Mother on the History or Mystery episode.
Yeah. Yes.
Where they messaged like, you're gonna want to know what's wrong about her. And then she went up to get to the bathroom, and he's like, oh my god, does she have a penis? Does she hate puppies? Does she hate my favorite movie?
Yeah.
Annie Hall's a terrible movie. Oh no, she thinks Annie Hall's the worst. And it was actually all good things.
Yeah.
But it fucked up his date because they made him curious enough to look.
Yeah.
Because that was his whole rule of how he got the date was we're not going to look into each other's history online.
Yeah. And it's just so weird to do that shit, to bring it up in public and then just fucking forget it. But sorry, I digressed a lot. But that guy, him saying, I wish someone would beat me dead or alive, just remind me of that guy.
Yeah, and I didn't mean it in a
no,
terrible way.
He did.
No.
He did. I can see it in his eyes. I can see it in his penis.
That was just my favorite fighting game.
Then you're going to be good at games that you like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that just reminded me of that guy because I have still fucking PTSD from it.
Apparently.
Fucking jackass.
All right.
But yeah, for sure, I think we're both in agreement. This game was good at the time.
Yeah.
I feel like if we played it 30 years ago and absorbed
Well,
it.
and I remember playing it back in the day and loving it.
Even then, I know I wasn't obsessed with it. When I played Pokemon for the first time, fucking obsessed with it. I never put it down.
It was Mario Brothers 3 for me and like Banjo-Kazooie and Mario 64. Those games are the ones that...
where you really just put yourself all in. And
GoldenEye.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat was not that game.
No.
I never did that with this game. I played maybe one night at my buddy's house because I didn't own this one. But we played at his house, and that was it. That was the only time I really ever played it when I went over there. So
Tekken 2 was the fighting game that turned me on to fighting games.
Yeah.
I played that Tekken 2 tag tournament at every arcade I could possibly
Budokai was
play.
what turned me on, man. Budokai was
That was the second one that turned me
that
on
one
to
was
it.
just so fucking well done.
Yes.
One day we'll play Budokai.
I'm down
guys.
for it.
Don't
I'm down.
worry.
I'm 100% down.
That game was so, and that one has a story.
Yes.
So, all right, guys. Well, that's it.
Yep.
We glad everyone listened. Check us out on all the socials, Twitter. Hold on, he's pulling it up.
Yeah.
At the Gooey Magoo on Instagram, at Stephen McGee on TikTok, the Gooey Magoo on YouTube, and Poser67 on YouTube. Check out our YouTubes if you want to watch our Let's Plays. We do Let's Plays of some of the games. We don't usually do recorded games. Because I like to really focus on those games and get them down without having to do commentary. But so if you request us to do a fucking recording, we'll do it.
There's a few games coming up that I'm going to be recording.
Yeah.
And like Superliminal is one of them.
Yeah.
That's just one that's it's going to be perfect for content. And
Sorry,
so
I had
I
to
think
sneeze.
there's a lot of these games that aren't great for content. Like Mortal Kombat, it's not going to be as fun just watching us play.
Yeah. I mean, it
Mortal
might be. It
Kombat.
might be fun watching me scream at a TV.
Yeah, maybe.
What the fuck? I pressed the fucking button! I pressed it!
I've continued this 6 times.
Oh yeah, you can only continue 4 fucking times,
Yeah.
and then it resets you back to the beginning. I'm like, fuck this game, fuck this game. So I got the arcade version, because I'm sure if they kept feeding quarters, you could continue as much as you fucking want.
I couldn't remember, actually. But yeah, definitely. Our next game is Split Second.
Split Second. I don't know what this game is. I know it's a racing game, and that's about it.
I think it's a Disney-made racing game.
Yeah.
And
And it was not good.
Actually, it's what everyone
No.
says is one of the most underrated racing games.
You know what else they said that about? They said that about a fucking game we played, the shooter one, and it was true.
Oh, Vanquish?
Yeah, Vanquish. It is an underrated game.
It was.
It was.
So this is probably going to be an
fair.
underrated racing game, and we're going to be like,
I think you can get
They're
like
already
an
good.
updated version too, like on Steam. So I think that's the one I'm gonna get.
okay.
All right, guys. This is Soul of a Gamer signing out.
Bye. I love you.
I don't.
Why?